Hello, my name's Damon Lucas. I'm with Penn State's Office of Student Aid. Today, we're going to go over some first-year student scholarship basics. Just kind of follow on the presentation. We will have a Q&A portion going on throughout the portion of this presentation, so you're always welcome to put your question into that chat there at the bottom. So we won't have any um, throughout this presentation. We won't do like any raising hands or anything like that. So please just keep your mics off, cameras off, all that fun stuff. This meeting will be recorded. So it will be posted sometime early next week on our YouTube page. So if you have any follow-up questions, you want to rewatch the video, you can just go onto that too. Again, type all your questions out in the Q&A we'll have at the bottom. Then we'll have a Q&A section here at the end where we'll answer some of those questions in the chat. Let's go over some of our next, if it wants to click. Let's go over our learning objectives here. So we're going to understand the mentality behind Penn State's scholarships for first-year students, gain information and gain access to resources which help guide your scholarship funding search and application efforts. We're going to receive the knowledge about academic college versus campus scholarships based on your personalized educational pursuits. They're going to obtain helpful resources to best connect with scholarship opportunities outside of Penn State. So I'll pause on this screen here. So this is the scholarship. It sends you the link to our student website. I'll give it a couple seconds to stay on this page. You can also, if you look at that link down the bottom too, that'll be where you can go to our website too. And then there's the QR code for that. I'll give that a couple more seconds. All right, so here's kind of what that website will also look like. So this is our Penn State scholarship website, our resource website. Here you'll have like the top, you'll see that contact scholar or contact student aid. In the bottom, there'll be a button to click and explore our scholarships. And there, if you see in the middle there, some more general information about what scholarships are at Penn State. They're awarded based off merit or financial need as defined by a specific scholarship program. All students who are offered admission submit a FAFSA or free application for federal student aid to Penn State are considered for scholarships that may be available through Penn State's Office of Student Aid, academic colleges, individual campuses, or other administrative units. Please recognize that Penn State cannot guarantee an award to every student who may rank near or at the top of their class, while Penn State is also not able to negotiate student aid packages to match other grant scholarship offers from other colleges or universities, we're more than happy to discuss other aid or any other opportunities that may be out there for you. So here's the Penn State first year scholarship mindset. So it is highly competitive. You're probably talking 1 in 6 students are awarded some sort of first year scholarship. Um, Penn States are used on a kind of award retention program. So primarily, you're not going to see those awards until your third year. Primarily, that's when they start to have those retention-based awards come out. So third and fourth year primarily. Essentially, it's the further along you are in your degree, the more likely you might receive eligible Penn State. You might be eligible to receive Penn State scholarship. First year is always usually the hardest. It is the hardest to finance in terms of qualifying for those more Penn State scholarships. It's important to use outside scholarships to increase your first year aid opportunities. We'll go over some outside scholarships toward the latter end of the presentation. We have a couple of examples out there for you. There are more eligible students than available aid out there. Penn State's opportunities. Not all eligible students, so you may say, hey, I'm eligible for this. Not all eligible students will receive a scholarship. Penn State funding is typically, again, awarded to those upper class students. So your third and fourth year is primarily when you'll see some sort of award come through. Do you have financial need versus merit base? And then when you're looking at these, you want to make sure you review renewable versus a one-time award. Often when a scholarship's awarded, there'll be some little extra information on that scholarship. If you have questions about that, you can contact the Enrollment Service Center, which we'll go over their contact information later too, but they can go over kind of a little more about what the scholarship is versus renewable versus a one-time award. That's something definitely to make sure you clarify when you receive a scholarship, because if it's a one-time award, it means you'll just get that one time. But it's renewable, you'll have to make sure you meet the criteria throughout the course so that scholarship can be renewed. So here are some of the ones that our first year undergrad admissions awards do. So many of you folks may have seen, if you like Google searched Penn State scholarships, you may have seen the Provost Award. So this award is available to a select few first-time Penn State students with offers of admissions to Penn State's undergraduate campuses. World Campus students are not eligible for this, nor are transfer students. Students who receive the university discount via the Penn State employees are not eligible for this one as well. Next, you have the Discover Award. This is available to a select few undergrad students, first year, and transfer students who apply to enroll with a degree program at Penn State campuses other than University Park. So this cannot be paired with the Provost Award, and this is for non-residents of Pennsylvania, so you're out-of-state students. Again, these are managed by the undergraduate admissions office. There's no application required for consideration. This one is very highly competitive because you're competing against all of our first-year students. And again, not all eligible students will receive this aid source. There's more information on our PSU scholarship website. So if you do have questions for this one, you can always reach out to undergrad admissions. They can kind of try and provide some information for you. But if you Google search it, you'll get some information then as well. So here's what our resource page will look like. So here you'll have on let's see if it clicks over. There you have all those little pluses you can click on. If you go to our student website, then go to the scholarship sections, I definitely recommend going through this section and clicking on through here. Each one is a great resource out there. So you have our scholarships awarded by the Office of Student Aid, institutional scholarships managed by also our Office of Student Aid, the academic college scholarships, and then campus scholarships, and some links there to the outside scholarship search engines that we recommend. Definitely, if you have not already, familiarize yourself with our website. Again, there's a lot of really important information on that website, and clicking through these links could help save you some money. So definitely take the time, if you have not already, to be kind of clicking through here. And even as you are kind of waiting on your college decisions, be definitely looking at what requirements you have for the academic college scholarships, if they have an application, and if they are something you need to apply for. So, scholarships awarded by the Office of Student Aid, or OSA. All students are offered admission to Penn State, but are in the file the FAFSA are considered. OSA scholarships are based on a combination of merit and demonstrated financial need, which that financial need is then again determined from your FAFSA application. Both Pennsylvania and non-Pennsylvania out-of-state students receive equal consideration, so there is no difference in if you're in-state or out-of-state. You're all under the same equal consideration for that. OSA institutional scholarships can require essays, letters of consideration, separate application process, and may have a specific deadline for consideration. This kind of goes out in general. When you are applying for a scholarship, each application could vary. A lot of them do require some sort of essay. So that's just like when you're applying for those, just clarify which ones are out there for you and what the requirements are. So these are our scholarships awarded through our Office of Student Aid. So we have the Buttonwaller Scholarship, Renaissance Scholarship. We have or do the Trustee Scholarship, any donor-sponsored scholarships, anyone through the Penn State Alumni Chapter Association, and National Merit Scholarships. So I want to touch up on the Alumni Association ones. So if you go out to our Alumni Association website, it's alumni.psu.edu. If there's a chapters section, you can click there and it'll show you all the alumni chapters out there. We have a lot in every state. We even have some international ones out there. So I definitely would recommend going on to there. Again, that's alumni.psu.edu. Again, that's not a guarantee because there are no guarantees of financial aid that they have a scholarship, but it might be some important information for you. Maybe there's an application out there. Maybe you'll get in contact with an alumni who has been through this Penn State process and they want to help provide you some information, how they search through scholarships, and they might have some extra information out there for you. So definitely go onto there and just see. Again, it's a great resource out there for any Penn State folks, and a lot of alumni like to help Penn Staters kind of come here and stay here, so they might have some extra information for you. So definitely go on there if you have not already. So for these, no scholarship application required for consideration. Again, there's more details on our PSU OSA website. These are highly competitive again, and again, not all eligible students will receive this aid source. So these are some of the institutional scholarships awarded by our Office of Student Aid. Kind of go, so we have the Steve Garvin, I can't pronounce all those ones, the Fisher Memorial Honor Scholarship, Laurel Howe Endowment Scholarship, and we have a couple of ones out there. So just an example of some of the things that are out there. Scholarship applications are required for considerations for a lot of these. Again, there are more details. There are a lot more details on our website. If we went through every scholarship, we would be here for hours on end. So definitely recommend going to our scholarship website and giving it the time to look through and see if you may be eligible for any of these ones. There's a scholarship out there for almost everything, so definitely take the time to look through. Again, highly competitive and not all eligible students who receive some sort of aid. So here's the academic college scholarships. These ones are managed through the academic college, not through that. So what I mean by this one is an academic college could be like engineering, Schmiel, the nursing school, that would be an academic college. So each academic college scholarship is different. Some might have different eligibility requirements. They could be need-based versus merit. They'll have different awarding timelines. What that means is their funds may show up earlier or later. They'll have different amounts of availability with that funding. Not all first year college or first years do have to fill out an application. So for example, I know engineering will actually send you an email when you've been accepted to your first year scholarship. So it's definitely crucial to look onto our website or reach out to someone through academic college and see if there's a first year application. Again, if there is not, you're automatically considered for any first year scholarships they may have available. College scholarships decisions are often not available before the first year admission deadline of May 1st. Usually the estimated awarding timeline is July, August, or even September. So decisions and funding from the academic college, again, are not managed by us. So if you do have questions about this one, you can always go onto our website and we'll have all the links here and we'll actually have it on this slide of which colleges have scholarships. Again, this is what the academic colleges are. So definitely take the time if you have not already, if you are accepted, to look into these and apply for any ones that you can. So this is specific to UP students only. Again, deadline application processes will vary. Decisions and academic college funds are not managed by our office, but the academic colleges. And then some scholarship deadlines may close before first year students have access to their academic college scholarship application. So this could be apply for the next academic year. So again, this is all the information out there. So the ones that say no mean you're automatically eligible for any first year scholarships. The one that say yes means there's a separate application you'll have to fill out. So definitely take the time to look into those. Each application varies, so it's definitely important to go take the time to look into these too. So here are our campuses. So you must apply and be admitted to a Commonwealth campus location to be considered for these ones. So here you see most of our Commonwealth campuses do not have an application. It looks like we have World Campus does, but definitely, again, take the time to make sure, reach out to one of the Commonwealth campuses, and they can definitely talk to you about what process they have. Again, deadline, application process, and availability do vary. Some campus scholarship deadlines may close before first year students have access to the campus scholarship application. And then for campus scholarships, most campus scholarships will not transfer to a student who changes campus. So this is an example for our 2+2 students we have. Those will not transfer around. And so definitely clarify that if you're going to transfer campuses, what scholarships will transfer to that campus you're transitioning to and what ones will not. Again, this is all of our Commonwealth campuses, and you see here, most don't have an application, but definitely take the time to look into this too if you have not already. So next we're going to go over outside scholarships, information, and basics. So a lot of you folks may have started this process already. If you have not, that's totally okay. You still have some time to do that. This is definitely a first stepping stone as to kind of just some general information as what you can be doing in between now while you have your college acceptance, expect even your first, second, third, fourth year. Outside scholarships are a great resource for you out there. So right now, as you're in school, here are going to be your local ones you want to look into. So definitely contact your local Chamber of Commerce. You can check with your high school. I always say check with your guidance counselor, career counselor, whichever is available, and see what you have in terms of your high school. Parents employers is also a great one. Those are primarily for dependent students. If you as the student are working well, you can definitely go check with your current employer. For example, Sheets. I think Walmart has stuff. A lot of the bigger companies have some sort of benefit So definitely take the time to go talk to your supervisor or just Google your company's website for scholarships. And there could be some resources out there. For example, as I mentioned, Sheets, if you ever go to them, they'll put on their front doors, they offer tuition assistance day one or something like that. McDonald's is another big one. I think Wawa might have some too. Again, most of the primary, like your bigger organizations will have something. Even if you work at a local mom and pop shop, always ask. The worst you can get told is no. You can look at those private foundations, religious organizations, anything that you have like a lot of clubs outside of your high school. So, for example, if you're in scouting, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all those are, they have a lot of things you can apply for. NSA, FSA, or yeah, FSA is a good one, NHS. So just look at all those and see what is all out there. You can also follow our social medias. That's where we'll post the stuff and we'll have more detail on those upcoming slides. So here's our social media. We just have X and Instagram. And we also do have our YouTube page. We will post outside scholarship opportunities here after we fully vetted to make sure they're authentic. We don't want to send you an application that's not real. So definitely take the time to look onto those Instagram or X, whichever you have. Again, we post stuff on there all the time. So definitely make sure to take the time to do that. Again, we post information, important information on there, dates, deadlines that pertain to your financial aid. We also providing information on upcoming events, webinars like this, and on our YouTube page, that's where you have the recording for any past presentations. So if you have not already, again, highly recommend taking some time to look through there. We do have a bunch of information on there. If you're ever in, listening kind of car ride, you can just put up our YouTube page and listen to one of our presentations. Definitely an interesting listen. So you should never pay for a scholarship search engine. Only use the free ones. These are the ones we recommend. So we have College Board, U.S. Department of Labor, Unigo, and FastWeb. So again, never pay for a search engine. It is a completely free thing out there. So definitely, again, these are the ones you recommend, and I've made sure they're legit. So again, you can be starting this process now. After you're done with this webinar, you can take the time to look at any one of these websites. We'll show you some examples after this, but definitely do this now and just start that process. Even if you're, you have everything covered. It's always good just to keep applying. The old saying is the more you apply for, the more likely you have of getting something. So definitely take the time to do that. Check these websites every couple weeks as they are constantly refreshed. The deadlines are constantly rotating. They could vary from a simple essay of why your favorite color is this, or why you may, or to a more detailed one of like what are your career goals and aspirations. So definitely take the time to do that. Should never stop looking for these during your degree process, regardless of what stage you are. It's very important to do this because you could be getting some free money. So definitely take the time to look through these search engines. Here's what college boards look like. So here's just what that is. Just a quick sign in. I'll stop here so you can either look at the QR code we have there or look at the URL at the bottom. Again, one of the ones you recommend. And here, this one's they're a little less, I would say, in depth than some other ones you may have. Here's our Department of Labor. Again, these are all free search engines, as you see here. This one, for example, says search for more than 9,500 scholarships, fellowships, grants, or other financial aid opportunities out there for you. So I kid you not, there is legitimately a scholarship for everything. So that's what I mean when you take take the time to look through everyone that's out there and applicable to you. If you start your search engine wide to narrow it down, whatever your preference is. Again, there, as you see in this example, 9,500 scholarships, and that's across the country, but there are a lot of opportunities out there. So definitely take the time to look at any of these websites. And here's what Unigo looks like. Again, here's that QR code out there, and you can customize these search engines so where they can send you stuff. Again, this one has millions of scholarships, so there is one out there for you. You just got to look on there and apply. And lastly, we're going to go over FastHub a little more closely, just to kind of give you a general idea of what one of these websites look like. Again, some of you may have started this journey, and if you have not, that again is totally okay. You still have time, and you have lots of time to keep applying for these ones. So we're going to get in it. We're going to take a closer look at what this looks like. So first, we'll create our FastWeb profile. You'll customize your profile with the option to enter your account details. For this one, you'll use a unique profile information. FastWeb will help you match you to outside scholarships based on your strength and account details. Each time you log in, you'll see new and existing scholarship matches that you may qualify for. So that's where we'll go over some more demographics on what you should be inputting. Here's what that page will look like when you register. Quick, easy registration. You can also use the mobile app or your favorite web browser, whichever one's easiest on you. If you want to use your phone, great. If you want to use your laptop or use web browser, whatever is easiest for you. Whenever you're doing this, make sure you use your personal email address. Do not use your high school email address because when you graduate high school, those will become null and void. And often the emails will be blocked from these because your high school email address will have a specific firewalls that don't allow like spam emails to come through. So when you're making your account, again, just use your email address, your personal one, so that way you can get all those emails and get everything on time. So here kind of have your account settings. Here you place to enter FAFSA member information and preference details. Here's where it kind of gets like where it's more important to put your details. That way you get scholarships specifically tailored to what your needs are or what your details are. Place to enter information will be to connect to, again, potential outside scholarships. You can also, in the subscription setting at the bottom, again, this is free, but this is a place to manage permissions associated with FastWeb details. Elect permissions to get notification on deadlines and new scholarships. You can fill out your desired profile and account information after creating your account. So again, this is just what that looks like. Here's kind of what those subscriptions are. Suggested subscriptions. So here we have this thing of you want email notifications. That way you get that information right away. As soon as the scholarship is available, you get an email. You can click FastWeb updates where you receive FastWeb updates and info. Partner offers can elect to receive college financing and admission offers, promotions designated for students. That's also a great one to have you weekly newsletters, important information, and Word of financial aid, scholarship, and student life. Scholarship deadline notifications. This one's important. That way you know when that deadline's coming up because you don't want to look on there and the next day, oh, that deadline passed, I can't apply for it. So it's definitely important to set that one on. That way you get those deadlines. For the internships, you can do that now if you want. If you're doing internships, that's great. If you're not, again, totally okay. And here's where you see that new scholarship notifications. Click that on. That way you get all the new scholarships. And then you have part-time job notifications and college notifications. Again, you can customize this to your heart's content, whichever ones you want. If it gets too much and you have too many things, you can always click off. But again, this is kind of the general ones of, hey, you should do this for those couple ones I mentioned with the email notifications, scholarship deadlines, and new scholarships. That way you're getting that information and that way you can get it on time. And then if you have anything that pops up, you'll see those deadlines come up pretty quickly. So it's definitely important. Students are going to want to learn to check your email now because that's how our office will communicate you. There's a lot of other colleges you will use your email. So definitely students be checking that email. Get in the habit of doing that now. Check it in the morning before you go to school. Check it at night, whatever your preference is, but definitely get in the morning or the habit of checking your email daily. Because again, those deadlines do pop up daily. So you definitely want to make sure that you are looking at those consistently and making sure that you're not missing anything because you could miss out on free money opportunities. So definitely take the time to look through your email. Here's where you go for your profile details. So this will be your information. So you see here current school year. So even if you're a junior, sophomore, or freshman in high school, you can still be using these websites and starting your applications now. If you're a senior, you'll put senior. But even again, if you're a junior, sophomore, or any of that one, definitely you can still be using FAFSA or any of those resources we previously mentioned because you can applying for those scholarships now. You may think, oh, school's a couple years away, I have time, but definitely start that now. So you have your educational activities. So again, school year, you'll have your scholarship needed for a year, GPA if you take the SAT, ACT, your high school graduation, your predicted college graduation, the colleges of interest, what possible majors you may be interested in. If you don't have an idea what you're interested in, that's perfectly okay. But you can always just put like a general idea of what you think you want to do. Your career objectives, any educational experience, and if you have any academic honors. So you also put your personal information. You can put your date of birth down there. Again, you'll kind of see that with the school year, gender, citizenship, if you have any disabilities, heritage, ethnicity, religions, or personal attributes. Again, this is completely optional to put this information down, um, but especially for the educational activities, that's where I help narrow down what scholarships are sent to you. So again, you don't have to do this; it's completely optional. You can keep your scholarships are very vague, but if you want to input some of this detail to kind of narrow down your search, you're more than welcome. Again, there's no right or wrong in this case, but it's definitely good if you want to do it. If you don't, it won't hurt you in the long run, so it's totally okay not to. So you'll also put your activities. Here is kind of the one that's a little more important. You want to do your student involvement. So that's where you have clubs at school. If you're involved against scouting, any outside activities. So student activities, sports involvement, if you're in performing arts, if your high schools have fraternities, or if you're in college too, if you do a fraternity or sorority, any military experience, any memberships you're involved in, any current or previous employers. So again, that's kind of where if you're an involved student, you'll get one specifically involved with you. Again, totally okay if you don't put this information in, it just kind of helps narrow your search down. And then you also want to look at parent activities, so parent attributes, example, single parent, parent associations memberships, again, parent, if there's any current or previous parent employers, any parent military experience, and your parent's occupation. The more detail you include is the better. Again, it's completely optional to put this down, but definitely want to do that. But FAFSA will match you to more potential outside scholarships based on the information you put. So take the time, whatever you're comfortable with, put that down. Again, if it'll narrow down your search and give you more specific ones too, but it's totally optional to put that information down. So here's an example of what that'll look like. You'll get some matches here. So here's the new scholarship matches. You'll see matches when you click on that one. It's show a number of scholarship matches. So here, this one has 6 potential value. If you have that much value in off 6 scholarships, you must really go 101 scholarships. Great. That's an example of what it looks like, and this will calculate the potential value of all scholarships based on the profile information. This then will keep track of any new outside scholarship matches that become available. So this is why I personally recommend FastWeb because it sends you all the stuff and kind of helps manage it. Each one of those websites does have its own little care contribution there. So whatever one's easier than you, again, FastWeb is the one we use as our example because it's kind of the most user friendly. But yeah, this is what it'll show you. And again, you'll get those matches sent to you consistently. So definitely sign up for those notifications that we went over earlier as well. And again, here's all the circles for you, so you can see this matched against 6 new matches, potential value of $5,820 or $2,000, and 101 total matches overall. So here's where you're sorting through your scholarships. So you have scholarships there on the top, and then my scholarships, so matches, favorites, the ones you've applied for, any deadline dates, and then the award amount. So here, if you look, you see your award amount and also deadline dates. Here you have your scholarships, and you matches, and then we have favorites. And then you can look at favorites. You can click the little heart button there. We have the ones you have applied for. Again, FastHub helps manage all that one, so it's definitely a nice one to use. But here you see all your award amounts, and then when the deadlines for those. So you see for this example, these ones have already passed. So you'd have the 31st was the most recent one. But this is just a great example of what those deadlines are and why it's important to set those emails up for you. And here's what the user face looks like. Here's your deadlines and your award amounts. So it's definitely important to look through this, see what the award amounts are. Here you have what the actual on the left hand, you have what the actual scholarship name is. So again, definitely take time to do this if you have not already. Start that process. So when you're applying to these ones, here's what it'll look like. So you click view, favorite outside scholarships, the ones that you want to apply to, and then you click view to see more details about that, and it'll then send you a direct link to apply. So again, definitely make sure the ones you think you might be interested in, just favorite them. You see at the top right, like the top middle there, you see the no essay scholarships. That one's probably just you send it and you're automatically awarded. So there's a lot of no essay ones. There's also a lot of ones that are very particular and you have to do an essay. So that's where it's important to take the time to look through those scholarships and view more information about them then. So when you're FAFSA, when you're applying to these outside scholarships, gives outside scholarship details and deadlines. Again, shares how you match to a scholarship. Click Apply Now to be directed to the outside scholarship application website, and then complete application on the external website before the deadline closes. So definitely there you click that Apply Now, that big button, big bright button there. And it'll take you to the outside website and give you if you see in the middle of the screen there, you'll see a very detailed description of what that looks like. So again, definitely take the time to make that Webster application if you have not already and start applying for these now. You see this one had a deadline for November 1st, which was not this last week, or yeah, last week. So definitely look at those deadlines too when you're applying. Again, make sure those deadlines are the most important thing because they will come and go really quickly. So it's what you'll be paying attention to the most. And just how you match. Again, you see also I forgot to mention the amounts there too. Definitely look at that too. That kind of vary. So there's a lot of that varied scholarship amounts out there. So you want to definitely take the time to look at those amounts then as well. And then when you're ready to apply, you apply now. And here's what that next thing will look like. Again, this one took you to an outside website for bold.org. And then you'll do that apply now. So FastWeb quick links, when you're on there, you'll see quick links at the bottom of the FastWeb website for other outside scholarship resources. Here's where I was mentioning, if you're a junior in high school, you can click there. And these ones also have very specific demographics. It's college freshmen for veterans, bilingual students, Hispanic students, ones by state, major. Again, they'll have all those quick links out there for definitely after this or sometime. Definitely take the time to look on there. And you can also go to their social media pages as well. Another great resource for you to utilize. So when you're sending these outside scholarships to us, you'll actually go through the office of the bursar. They're the ones who do the external awards, as we call them. So they'll be the ones you send the check to, and they'll post it to your account when the semester starts. Again, there's the QR code for that website or the external award section, and there is the address to which that check is sent to. If you are awarded an outside scholarship, the Office of the Bursar will gladly walk you through that process if you're confused at all or have any issues on if the outside scholarship company or committee doesn't want to send it to you. You can just send it to this address. So again, our Office of Student Aid will not work with the outside scholarships. It'll be the Office of the Bursar, and they'll gladly take care of you when you go through that process. So next, the FAFSA. So as I was kind of mentioning earlier about need-based criterias, here's where that need-based criteria comes from, your FAFSA application. So right now we are on the 26-27 FAFSA. Some of you may have done this already. Again, that's totally okay if you have not already, but here's what that page looks like. And if you are admitted to the summer, you actually have to do a 25-26 FAFSA as well as your 26-27. Because the summer is the end of the prior academic calendar year, not the start. So for fall admits, you'll do the 26-27 FAFSA, and for summer admits, you do a 26-27 in addition to a 25-26 FAFSA. Again, that's on studentaid.gov, and you can go to the link there at the bottom, but it's a lot more user-friendly now. And again, those are open now for you to apply for. And that's I mentioned about summer session. Definitely make sure you have not, if you are interested in the summer, definitely do this as well. So we strongly encourage students to have filed the FAFSA by December 15th. If you are a current student, that's what we recommend having by April 15th. And then for PA state grant eligible students, so this is for the FIA grant many of you may have seen, you want to get that in by May 1st. Again, for new students, have that FAFSA in by December 15th. That's what our recommended timeline to be considered for the maximum amount of aid out there. And if there's any current students, strongly encouraged to file by April 15th for the maximum amount of consideration for any eligible aid out there. So these are helpful resources. So when I was mentioning about doing essays, the Penn State Learning, these folks are a great resource out there for you. They can help edit your scholarship essays. So when you are a student, these are more for when you are a student. These are a great resource out there to kind of help individualize and personalize your scholarships essays a little. If you're having issues with it, thinking these folks are a great team out there to kind of help edit that scholarship essay, and we'll definitely take the time to make sure your scholarships, make sure just touch it up. I mean, that little touch up can be the difference between you getting $1,000 scholarship and you not getting $1,000 scholarship. So definitely go here when you are a Penn State student, talk to these folks. Again, here's another recommendation. undergraduate research or fellowship mentoring. These folks are definitely, it's a great resource out there. So I'd highly recommend going here. These for writing tools and recommendations. Again, these are great resources for you to write your essays. Not all, again, not all of us are great at writing essays. I personally am not. So I would have utilized these resources if I had gone to Penn State. So definitely utilize these folks. They're here to help you and help. They could help you get, and again, be the difference between earning a couple $1,000s in scholarships or not earning a scholarship. So definitely take the time to reach out to these folks when you are a student. So here are some helpful resources out there for you. Here's our scholarship website, our OSA website, our YouTube page, and the Bursar external awards section. Again, YouTube, we have had some prior webinars about the FAFSA and a little more detailed information about that one. We kind of briefly touched on it here just because we have done some previous webinars. So if you do have FAFSA specific questions, I would highly recommend going to our YouTube page and looking over those previous videos. And if you have not already, definitely go to our OSA website. We post a bunch of stuff on there and our social medias as well. And here's those links to those websites, FAFSA, Unigo, Department of Labor, College Board, how eligibility is calculated. So that's that financial need component, and then where to file your FAFSA. So if you want to contact, this is not for just our office, but all the other Commonwealth campuses we have out there. Please reach out to your campus-specific student aid or financial aid office for financial aid support. So this is for your Commonwealths, campuses, or University Park. Just contact them and see what all your campus-specific scholarships are. And then, so if you have been to University Park and you've gone to our office, where you may have noticed our new University Park Enrollment Service Center. So this is our new one-stop shop enrollment support center designed to help Penn State students with questions regarding financial aid, admissions, and the registrar. Here is their new number and also their email. So you will not actually contact the Office of Student Aid now. You'll contact these folks and they'll gladly answer all your questions. Again, if you've been to campus, you may have seen this. They may have sent you downstairs to their new building, but they're in the first floor of the Shields building too if you go in person. We definitely recommend you talk to these folks if you have questions. They'll gladly set you in the right direction as well. So here's our upcoming webinars. We do not have one set up for December or January just yet. But in February, we'll have cost of attendance, what that looks like. That's kind of learning more about how to use cost of attendance, our cost of attendance page, to calculate tuition and fees. So this will primarily be when you're asking, how do I calculate how much my tuition will be and what my cost of attendance is? That'll be about that. And we'll also have on March 5th, we'll have understanding the financial aid offer with our office. We'll go over if you've submitted the FAFSA, you've been offered scholarships, you should plan to receive a summary of your aid and estimated cost. So definitely recommend signing up for that one. Again, I know that's some time out, but this is just some more information for you. Again, we'll have another great series going on there too. But definitely, if you have not already looking, you can actually go into our YouTube page, and we do have ones from the prior year. If you want like a general information, we actually do have previous videos in there. But definitely recommend coming to these ones because there are constantly changing things. So it's definitely important to go to those as well. So now we are going to do a live Q&A portion of this one. I'm going to have my colleague Kelly pop up, and I'll stop my screen share.
Hi, everyone. So Damon, we do have a couple of questions that came through, and we'll see if you can answer these for us. What happens if you get a scholarship from a particular academic college and then you change your major and or your college?
Wait, I thought you were answering these, Kelly.
I can answer these. So if you do get a scholarship and it is specific to an academic college and you do move colleges, then you will lose the scholarship offered. If you change majors and it happens to be within that academic college, you still have a chance to keep that on your list. But again, if you do change your major, and go into another academic college, you would lose the scholarship from the college that you moved from. The other question out here is if you receive outside scholarships, does that negatively affect your ability for or eligibility for financial aid? And the answer is no. We want you to come in with as many scholarships as you can. It does not impact what our office and what the FAFSA would be able to offer you.
Uh, Let me list
So,
off. I'm sorry,
yeah,
Kelly.
yeah.
Let's say, let me go off of. We have in our Q&A section right now. So I didn't touch up on this one, but how do international students go about applying for scholarships?
So international students are eligible for scholarships. What you would want to do is first, those outside scholarship resources are definitely something that you should explore. Indicate that you're an international student and there will be something that comes back for you. There are academic colleges that do not require the FAFSA to be on file, and so those colleges would have merit-based monies that could be eligible for as an international student. I would recommend that you look through their website to see what those requirements are.
Perfect. Let me just see what's here. And I saw one of the questions here was why does Penn State not offer first year students financial aid?
So we do offer financial aid for first year students, definitely with the FAFSA, those federal funds and or state funds you would be reviewed for automatically. And then Office of Student Aid does have some of those resources. There are merit-based awards within the academic college, and those are available for students. First year students, they're how do I describe our philosophy? Penn State uses our scholarship dollars more as a reward for students who do well rather than a recruitment to bring students into us. So, although it's not impossible for a first year student to receive funding, we do tend to use most of our scholarship dollars at this time for those students who have settled and are doing well within their academic college. So not having a scholarship in the first year does not prevent you from having something in your second, third, and fourth years.
Perfect. And then one of the questions there, just off a recommendation, should we register for all the scholarship websites that I went over, or just one of them? Is there really any preference on that?
The more that you get out there, the more likely you are to receive scholarships from an outside source. They do require some diligence, as Damon explained. And so continuing that search, even after you've been admitted or even after you've started classes, we do recommend that you go out there very regularly to see what is available and continue to apply for those scholarships. So the more you can get in there, the more chances you have.
All right, perfect. And then see. So this one's a good one because I didn't touch up on it as much. This one's primarily for the Schreyer's Honor ones. Um, do students need to apply for the Schreyer Honor Scholarship separately or through the Early Action Common App?
Gosh, so that's a question I'm not exactly sure, but I do recommend that you look through their website and or the admissions website for information on how they do award their scholarships and if there's an application process for their Schreyer Honors awards.
So we definitely recommend reaching out if you do have questions about that scholarship, reaching out to the Schreyer's Honor College. They'll be able to better direct you on that application. And so, are there any differences for, I know I mentioned in the presentation, for out-of-state students or in-state students? Is there any difference between how they are awarded?
So through the Office of Student Aid and most scholarships do not look at whether a student is an in-state or an out-of-state student. Now, there are some that are specific, but for the most part, we don't refer or reference whether you're an in-state or an out-of-state student.
Perfect. And then this one's a good one to go over. What do we do when our grants or scholarships are not enough to cover our balance, basically?
Got it. So there will be, for most students and families, a gap between the aid that they've received, whether it's scholarships, federal or state funding. There will likely be a gap between what is owed to Penn State and what those resources are. Most of our students do need to use other loans as a resource, whether that be a Parent Plus loan and or a private education loan to fill into that gap. There's also the option of using the installment plan, which is a program that's offered through the Office of the Bursar, which would break up what is owed to the university after your aid. What is owed would be broken up into 4 monthly installments for the fall and then 4 monthly installments for the spring. And we do have a webinar coming up a little bit later about loans in particular.
Perfect. And this one's always the hot commodity of what percentage of incoming freshmen or first-year students receive merit-based aid?
Got it. I do believe the figure is 1 in 4 students at that first year do receive some sort of support from the university.
Perfect. Let me see. Just trying to see what's another good one for you. Um, so with the outside scholarships, what is the best resources for students if they have an outside scholarship check? What is the best resource for them to utilize?
Sure. So if you've already received an outside scholarship, congratulations. That's fantastic. You will work with the Office of the Bursar to get those funds added to what we call the financial aid offer. If that check is written out to you, you will need to endorse that check and then bring that to the Office of the Bursar or send it to the Office of the Bursar at University Park, and we can take care of that. If it's written out to Penn State only, and it's come to you, make sure that your Penn State ID number is on there so that we can make sure it is put onto the correct record.
And is it recommended, even if a family feels as though they will not get any funding from the FAFSA, is it still recommended they complete the FAFSA application?
I do recommend, at least at that first year, to complete the FAFSA. What you think you may be eligible for may not be what is a result of completing that FAFSA. If you complete the FAFSA and you're only eligible for either the subsidized and or unsubsidized loan funds, you do not need to accept those, but it is still worth completing so that you know what you're definitely going to be eligible for. The FAFSA is also required if your family wants to use the federal direct parent plus loan. And so that is something that is required because both of those are federal resources.
Perfect. And this one's a good one to apply for our not our first year students. Does Penn State give second, third, and fourth year student scholarships through FAFSA?
So scholarships are not through FAFSA itself. You may have to complete the FAFSA in order to be considered for those awards. But yes, it is more likely for a scholarship from Penn State to be in those years that are outside of that first year. So generally juniors and seniors, but there are sophomores as well available, scholarships available.
All right, perfect. And on top of that, that leads into when's the best time to be applying for these scholarships?
Sure. So outside scholarships, you should do that now and as often as you can. For scholarships within the university, you definitely want to get an offer of admission first, and then review those college websites to see when those applications are available, if there is an application. Otherwise, we will automatically consider you for those internal resources.
And is there a definitive amount? I know a lot of folks always ask this. Is there like a set amount students are offered, or do the amounts vary on what the scholarships are?
The amounts can vary. So some of those scholarship resources are funds that are given to the university. And any given year, there could be more in that pot of funding, or there could be less. So those do vary.
And then for the folks that may not have that level of need indicated, how is non-need based aid determined?
So merit-based funds or non-need-based funds, for first year, it does typically go by your high school GPA, your high school activities, and those things. So anything in that merit-based academic structure would be what would be looked at for those merit-based funds.
And this one's kind of does merit aid still apply for students who are for rolling admission applicants?
Merit-based funds are for anybody who is either admitted and or attending Penn State.
And then this one's actually a really good one because we get a lot too. Um, can you get merit and need-based aid?
You absolutely can get both. You can get as many scholarships as you can, whether they are merit and or um, based on need.
And then I say again, people just keep typing their questions. We'll keep answering them as we go along. Let me see. I've been trying to stump you, Kelly. The problem is you have a cesspool of knowledge, and it's very difficult to stump you on a question.
Don't try.
Do you have any recommendations for those like where to look for like specific like city-based scholarships? If there's any ones that pertain to a specific state, any recommendations on those?
Let's see. So I would recommend, so there are alumni from Penn State everywhere around the world. If you've gone to a city, you're likely to run into someone who's graduated from Penn State. And although those alumni chapters and those alumni staff may not have scholarship resources, they do have the knowledge because they came here. How did they do it? What did they look for? Is there a particular area that's good for scholarships? I also, should you decide to come to Penn State, I also recommend that you get to learn and know your instructors. Not only does the networking help you in life later on, but sometimes those are the people that are on those committees to award those scholarships. If your name is on that scholarship list, they may recognize you and you may be able to get a better recommendation for those awards.
And then how often should people be checking on those outside scholarship search engines? Like, what's a good recommendation on how often they should be checking for new scholarships?
Sure. So, like I said earlier, a lot of students will stop that search once they've started classes. We do recommend, depending on what you have going on, either every 2 weeks, once a month, set a schedule for you to go out and look for and refresh your searches for those scholarships. If those databases, so Damon went through some of the databases that are available. If those databases do get overwhelming, we do have a social media team that will put a scholarship out there a day. We vet those scholarships, we make sure they are actual scholarships, and we put a little bit of information out there for you so that you can decide whether you may be eligible for that. So again, it's overwhelming with those databases, and I understand why a lot of students and families will stop that search, but at least follow us on our social media pages, and it's more digestible to have one a day versus a whole bunch of them coming in at once.
This one's a good one. We're able to get. Um, a 529 plan affect any scholarship opportunities?
The 529 plan is a resource that is recorded on the free application for federal student aid, or the FAFSA, that can impact your need as it is on the FAFSA, but it doesn't impact what might be available to you from like a merit-based world.
And aside from some of the local resources I mentioned, do you have any other recommendations out there for students to look for like more local scholarships?
Hmm. Gosh. Damon did a
Mhm.
really good job. So we do have Sheets stores all over the place. Downtown is, I believe, still in McDonald's and those types of things. So just getting out there and asking questions for any potential employment to see if they have scholarship funding to help with those expenses for campus.
And again, for that, even if you're working part-time at an organization, it's still there might be something out there. Again, the worst they can tell you is no. So definitely take the time to ask your supervisor or any local like HR person there. And they can help you on your way. Definitely give you some information to apply for. So you have about 5, 6 minutes left. So we're gonna keep running through some questions here. And we'll kind of go through a couple more ones. Again, you can keep typing questions in a little Q&A there. We'll gladly answer those. And then, so are there any scholarships for dependents of veterans?
Gosh, so there are. I'm assuming possibilities in the outside scholarship world, but we at University Park and all of our campuses have very specific offices that can help with those benefits. And they would also be able to tell you whether there's scholarship information. At University Park, our Office of Veterans Programs has a really detailed website that may be of use. I don't know the website off the top of my head, but they also have an email address at University Park of OV as in Victor, P as in program at psu.edu, and they would be happy to answer any of those questions. But again, if you are getting benefits as a result of military service, you should definitely reach out to their staff to find out what is available to you and to your student.
Well, that leads into a good one, Kelly. If they're using a GI Bill, which office would they contact?
The Office of Veterans Programs at University Park. And then again, each of our campus locations does have someone on staff that can answer those questions. They're so detailed and there's so many rules and regulations that it is important to have a specific staff know what those answers are so you're not led in the wrong direction.
All right, perfect. And then I'll kind of go over this one. So a lot of the questions are asking about very general specific things like marching band or ones pertaining to like your academic college. For those, you'll just want to go to, like, for example, if you're interested in doing blue band, you want to reach out to the blue band folks and they'll be able to answer those questions for you. Again, in the academic colleges, you can just go onto their website and they'll have some information out there for you. Anything with athletics, you'll then go actually go to your athletics folks. But like any specific niche ones, if you have a disability, you'll want to just Google search ones with disabilities. And for example, like FastWeb had some ones you could put, if you had a disability, you can put stuff down there too.
One of the questions, and Damon's absolutely correct, those specific offices can give you more details on those what's available through there. There is a question that just came through about scholars. Are scholarships or merit awards dependent on which campus you request? And the answer is yes. So University Park has resources and the college, our other campuses also have resources of their very own. So that's where you would want to take a look at their websites to see what they may have to offer. But yes, we do have different offerings for scholarships depending on campus.
Here. Then kind of this goes off the when you should apply, even if a student's a freshman, junior, or senior, is it still recommended to be applying for those outside scholarships?
Yes, I would definitely take a look. And I believe that Damon mentioned one of the criteria. You can tell that the program that's looking for those scholarships at what year you currently are. And that will bring back some scholarships that may be available to you. But start early, start often, at least get yourself into the habit of looking through those databases.
And this one's the one we used to get all the time, Kelly. But can awarded scholarships be increased or reviewed based on other offers from other colleges?
Yeah, unfortunately, Penn State does not negotiate, and we have too many students to be able to negotiate offers from other universities, other colleges. So no, we are not able to do that here.
Okay, we'll go over one more question. I think I was gonna say if students have multiple siblings enrolled in the university, are they eligible for any additional scholarships?
No, so we would love for your family to have multiple generations attend, but unfortunately at this time, Penn State doesn't have anything specific for multiple generations.
All right, so I think we'll conclude our question section there. About that time. Thank you all for asking your questions. We'll answer the questions that are left in the Q&A portion right now. But thank you all for joining again. This webinar will be posted sometime, I think early next week on our YouTube page. You should get an email when it's live. Usually takes about 24 to I think 78 hours for it to post. Thank you all for joining. You can definitely go on if you have any questions, relook at that webinar and go over that. And you can always reach out to our enrollment service center now. But thank you folks for joining. You have a great rest of your night.
Yes, thank you all very much and good luck.